There's definitely the topic, environmental destruction, loads of laughs. So I'm here to give you a few laughs at that. So my name is Grainne Kennedy, and thank you, Charlotte, for the introduction. I can't see you, these lights are so disco. But I'm the Climate Action Coordinator for Waterford City and County Council. So I kind of love the name of my job, right? If you think of who else has action in their job title, I'll tell you who. Action Man, he does. So I'm not saying thank you for the clap. I'm superheroes all the way. I am not a superhero, but I have, I've ordered a cape in Guyanese just in case, right? So I'm quite new to the job. I'm kind of figuring it out. I'm feeling like if there's an extreme weather event, the ability to fly will kick in. I'll be able to cape over the shoulders. I'll be over the shore, pushing back. Very much like X-Men, but then Carrick, I'm sure, will hate us, but Waterford will be fine. Waterford will be fine, that's my job. So I've been an environmentalist for many, many years, and I completely agree with Grace. The wonderful thing about being, the wonderful thing about being an environmentalist is you really recognise how amazing this planet is. And for me, I am amazed with everything, and particularly with stuff that nobody else is amazed with, right? My fascination in life is pigeons. Pigeons, guys, they call them the rats of the skies. Rats wish they were as cool as pigeons, right? Pigeons are the skater boys and girls of the sky, right? Think of someone on their skateboard, they get on their skateboard, they have better balance than I, so I'm going to attempt to do this. You do one kick, you do the second kick, and then physics and coolness carries you away, right? Our friends, the pigeons, and you'll see this everywhere you go now, right? They do the exact same thing. They flap the wings once, they flap the wings twice, they go straight up in the air, and then they come and they do this dive, which is just cool, right? And I've recently learned that this is a mating kind of behaviour. So all the male pigeons are saying to the female pigeons, I am so cool, you can rely on me, gravity doesn't even bother me, right? And all the female pigeons are like, woo, woo, that's pigeon flirtation, right? But so that's the thing that nobody gets excited about. By the way, the building down here, Burton's, and you will not be able to unsee this, pigeons congregate there every morning, hundreds of them, and they're all just hanging out, preparing for the strenuous day of flying straight into the sky and just dropping. So, the pigeon's not very cool, but then there's other things that are amazing. So, I've just had my can of Coca-Cola. The water in the can has surely dropped from the height of a waterfall once or twice or 3 times in its lifetime. The wind that has rustled your ears as you came in the building today might have gone over the head of a camel in the Sahara. The oxygen, deep breaths in your lungs, that came from a box hedge in Ballybricken. All these magical places in the world where all these different things arise. So we have the wonderfulness of being an environmentalist. But there are challenges as well, and I find sometimes emotionally the challenges are with people. Because I think everyone has and I'm very sympathetic to people, because people have a feeling, Jeannie, there might be something a bit wrong, and I'm a bit afraid, but rather than saying I'm a bit afraid, I'm going to take on the next environmentalist I see, and I'm going to say mean things, right? So, for me, this has happened a good few times. I was at a house party, and my friend brought over a friend of hers and said, Grainne, this is John. You'll get on with John. I've introduced you, right? John says to me, perfectly normal, what do you do, Grainne? I say, I'm a Climate Action Coordinator. I've just ordered my cape. Should be in next week, right? And John looks at me a bit strangely, and then he comes and he's thinking a little bit, and then he says out loud to me, he says, really, there is no point in us doing anything, because China is way bigger than we are, and we can't make a difference, and what is the point, and let the world burn. Now, this guy is delighted with himself. He's thinking to himself, that is some grade A party banter there, right? He has absolutely floored me, he's thrilled with himself. And I'm standing there thinking, oh God, here we go. I don't need to go out anymore because I always end up defending the Chinese state. And that is not a normal occurrence, right? Now, I'm not saying China is perfect. They have a long way to go just as we do. But that's not to say that we can just basically say, well, we don't need to do anything. Let's just leave it for everyone else to do. That's a silly attitude. And also, we're missing out on all those wonderful opportunities, to have renewable energy producing jobs locally and all these different things. So John is waiting for his answer. Also, hashtag not all Johns, right? I just like to say that. There's a lot of Johns that have been like, and I'm like, no, you're nice, John. You did not say anything like this to me. So John is looking at me, and I do the only thing a lady can do in that moment. I reach into my back pocket, and I take out my notebook of Chinese sustainability facts, right? Chinese sustainability fact number 1. 40% of all solar installed in the world this year will be installed in China, right? Chinese sustainability fact number 2. An area the size of Ireland was reforested last year in China. Chinese sustainability fact number 3. China is the biggest consumer of electric buses in the world. And I look up, and John is nowhere to be seen, right? I would like to think that John is basically having a word with himself, saying how he shouldn't be blaming China for all of his problems. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think John is off having a beer going, sure, you want over there, she's got a notebook. So anyway, for me that's a little bit of a victory, because in fairness, it's the kind of thing where you're like, you want to be nice, but you don't want to be kind of pretending that something isn't true when it is, right? So for me, that is a victory. But I can't go to every house party, guys. Like, the TikTok dances alone would take over my life. Like, I can't be learning a dance a week, I just can't, right? So I need something a bit bigger than me. I need something international, I need something that everyone loves, I need something that is really imaginative, where the producers are not afraid to go really crazy and convince everyone that Australia is in Europe, right? I need, guys, we've had Eurovision, I need Sustainavision, right? What is Sustainavision? Sustainavision is where countries will compete to see who will be the most sustainable, and they will have a great old time. What will it look like? It'll still be fancy with loads of lights on a stage. There'll be LED lights this time. People will swim to it, I don't know. And so just to give an example, I can imagine the Danish and the Dutch, they might have a cycling flash mob, and they'd show off their cycling infrastructure, they'll be all cycling around. To be honest, from the ground it'll just look like people cycling, but from the air it'll be amazing, right? And then the Americans, I think they will go with the whole battery power. I think that's their forte, so they'll be showing off what they have. And I think the Chinese, they'll go for something that might be reflective of their culture and different things. So definitely in China, I think the whole cute kind of look at things is really amazing. So I think the Chinese might go for a massive solar farm, in the shape of a panda. I think that'd be really cute. I think that'd be lovely, yeah. What's that? Yeah? What is that, John? Yeah? Because the Chinese guys, they already have. They have. And I'm not even opening on the right page. There's a panda drawing in here that I did earlier in the car. But anyway, I would say to my friend John, stick that in your pipe but don't smoke it, because it's bad for you and it's bad for the environment. So, props. You can't bring a props on stage, there's too much going on. But anyway, thank you for humouring me and having a little laugh there. And I think actually with a lot of these things, it's very difficult to be having a little bit of a laugh, but I think it's good for us all. Now, one thing I would like to say as the job side of things is that we as a council are bringing out our climate action plan for the work that we will be doing over the next 5 years by the end of October. And this is kind of what we have set out as a council that we feel that we can do to reduce emissions in our operations, but also to help everyone in Waterford to reduce their emissions and also prepare for climate change. So if you have 5 or 10 minutes at the end of October and you want to have a chat with us about the climate action plan, we'll be doing loads of events. We'll be doing a comedy night on the 28th of October with an actual comedian. Sorry, this is a hobby of mine. I know you're all like, oh, why don't you do this professionally? No, Waterford needs me. But yeah, so we'll have all those different things. But one thing I would say, and this goes back to what the Mayor has said, I think sometimes there can be an assumption that progress will automatically happen. And sometimes that, and it's not in no bad will, but sometimes that doesn't happen because voices of worry on one side or another, can be a little bit can be louder than the other. Sorry, Sarah, I'm just going to 1 second. So what I would say is we are very lucky in Waterford. Our elected officials, very approachable people. They want to hear what it is that you want for your local area. And I wish I had known at your age how accessible the democratic process is, and it's wonderful through SLE and other groups like that, that you are aware of this. And I would say, do not hand over your power or your voice to anyone else. Don't be afraid to speak up and ask for what you want for your local area, and hopefully my team will be able to help to facilitate that. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.